Do 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 do. A do 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 do. A do 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 do.
What if I told you that bigger wasn't always better? That bringing a knife to a gunfight can sometimes have advantages, and that old adage of talk softly and carry a big stick is one of those rare and beautiful quotes that you can live your life by. Maier of Maier Racing is not an overly large man. He's not 6'5", he doesn't weigh in at 300 pounds, and he's about as soft-spoken as they come. That is, of course, when you're not talking about cars. You see, Mike is a guy that doesn't really care about a car's bling factor. Get the man talking about how to set up a car, though, and how to make it go around a corner at speed, and you'll soon realize that this mild-mannered man with a little blue Mustang has the ability to crush any professionalism you might have and make you make sounds like, well, this.
How do you not love this car?
My name is Mike Mustang. Each week I travel the country with the goal of showcasing the best and baddest muscle cars and hot rods around. Every car has a past and every owner a story. Welcome to the world of big muscle.
So sometimes on Big Muscle, we're fortunate enough to come across a car that we don't hear about, but we see in person. You know, Maier of Maier Racing, his 66 Mustang Coupe is such a car. You know, I've seen a lot of Pro Touring cars run at different events, and while always impressive, you know, there's like one or two that usually you'll look at and you'll be like, oh, you know, I kind of like to see that. This one, however, really kind of hit me. I'd also seen this car run at the Optimal Ultimate Street Car Challenge in 2011. I decided, well, you know what, I'm gonna give him a call and see if he's interested in being on the show. So, first off, he was interested. Second of all, I was allowed to drive this thing, which is fantastic. But what I came to find out is not only Mike one of the nicest guys in the hobby, but he's a true enthusiast that cares about one thing: winning. Everything that Maier Racing builds is about winning. It's about doing it right. This is not some big kind of parts house shop that goes out and says, oh, we're gonna order parts from here and, you know, do this, and we're gonna order parts from there. They make everything in-house, which nobody does anymore because, honestly, nobody really can anymore because they don't have the talent. However, when you have 70 years of racing experience behind you, well, that lets you learn a few things.
My dad started it in '69, and he Trans Am raced from '69 till '91, and he did everything from engine mods, transmissions, rear ends, suspension, fiberglass, posters, emblems, oil pans. We did everything, only Mustangs. So we do make pretty much everything here, with the exception of a few items. So if a part doesn't fit, that was us. If it does fit, hey, that was us. So the fiberglass, we hand lay everything. Any carbon fiber work, we do it all here. Molds here, plugs here, suspension fixtures, everything here. This car here my dad bought in like '83, '84. It was a '79 4-cylinder burnt orange pile. He made it into one of the very first, what I would call Pro Touring cars. He put a wide body kit on it. It had 1510s in the back, 15.8s in the front. Back in the day, that was pretty fat. Had a 351 Windsor with Webers. Had a top loader. They came with these cruddy old little 3-speed overdrives back in the early 80s. He put a 9-inch with a Detroit locker in it. He put big rear drums, big discs in the front. This car was a bad machine in the 80s. And I drove it a little bit and I really ruined it. I just hacked on it. And I cut it up and I did a lot of really stupid things to it. And I ended up really cutting it up. One day I stripped every panel off the thing. I pulled the motor. I bought a suspension. It wasn't what I was thinking it was. So this was the first car I did suspension on wholeheartedly. I made my own struts with a good friend of mine, Guy Ankeny. He mainly did it. I made my own rear suspension. I did my cage. That is the very first main hoop I ever put in a car. We've ended up winning nationals with this car several times now. We've won a pile of races. And this is the village bicycle. We just drive the snot out of it. And it's evolved to this. It's one of the fastest cars in the nation.
All right, so standing next to me is Mike Maier, and we're talking about your '66 Mustang. Now, when I was at the Good Guy show, I was kind of enamored with the fact that you just kind of destroyed everybody. But then when I walked by the car, the trunk was open, and that's what really caught my eye. So could you explain to me about the suspension under here and how you developed it?
Sure.
Cool. So what do we got under here? Because this is one of the trickiest systems I think I've ever seen.
Well, basically when we designed the suspension, we wanted to be able to drive the car on the road.
Okay.
And if we put the coilovers under the floor, the shocks and springs under the floor, we didn't think we'd have enough travel to hit train tracks with a coffee in your hand. So there just wasn't enough room. So if we moved them into the trunk, we could have all the room we wanted to have a big stroke of shock and all that good stuff, so we can hit bumps and not pack out the shock. Well,
So it was really all about functionality then.
yeah, we just wanted to drive the car initially. Had nothing to do with racing.
Okay.
And then we stumbled upon the geometry and everything that went along with it.
Right.
So when we got into that, all of a sudden we started noticing all the benefits and all the things that we could do with it, and it just grew from there.
So let's move to the front of the car and just give me an idea of, we obviously know the back is pretty tricky. Let's see what's done up front.
Contrary to belief at the back, you know, I really think that suspension needs to be simple.
Okay.
We really focused on making sure the control arms were the right geometry. Geometry is kind of the heart of your suspension, the angles and all that stuff. Then what complements it is the spring and the shock. If you don't put good icing on the cake, nobody's really going to be thinking about the cake.
Okay.
So we bought basically the best shocks you can buy. We got JRI shocks. We're running a great hypercoil spring. But the big thing with that is it just allows the geometry to be accentuated. You need to be able to control it with all that. So we didn't go bonkers up here. We just kept it simple and really good and clean.
Power-wise, we're talking about a 302 with about 300 horsepower, 4-speed top loader. You know, it's carbureted and it really is good. I mean, you can see, roll into it. We've got the power, we've got the brakes to throw it in. They're manual brakes, Willwood calipers, but the handling on this car is truly sublime. It's quick steering, okay? You can pitch it in, hammer out, the car is not gonna skip, it's not gonna move. What you have to do is you have to trust it, okay? You've got to trust it to throw into the corner. Feel the tires bite, hammer out, put your foot on the gas. I mean, just, it's fun. This is a slot car for the street. I can see why Mike wins. You know, most 66 Mustangs, if you've ever driven one in stock condition, they're sloppy. You have all that play in the steering, you have all that play in the suspension, because I mean, that's what it was. Mike's managed to take this car and really do special things with it to the point where I'm on a back road, I want to take this on the track. I want to take this on the autocross, and I want to line this sucker out. You know, the car tells you, drive me at 10/10ths. You know what I mean? Let me do what I was built to do. Now, unfortunately, we can only experience a little of that today because we're on public roads. But I can tell you, because I've been driving cars for a long time, both on the racetrack and on the street, that this car is well built, and the stuff that these guys preach, take it to heart because it's true.
Basically, predicting what the market wants is it's a crapshoot. You know, when the Eleanor thing came through, the movie happened. It just happened. And all of a sudden, everybody's calling you wanting parts. That was a huge help to our company. The pro touring scene, I think it was great. People got tired of just looking at their car with these big balloon tires. They wanted to wheel it, they wanted to drive it. Well, we were already driving, we've been doing that. So a good friend of ours, Brian, said, Mike, you gotta take your Mustang out and wheel it. And that's how we got started in it. But what I basically figured out with predicting the market was, the hell with the market. Do whatever you do good. And if you do something good and it's worth attention, it'll bring it. And if it's not, then, well, your ass out.
One of the cool parts about first talking to Mike is Mike is not a self-promoter by any means. You know, a lot of these guys you'll speak to, and it's me, my business, we're better than the next guy, and you'll constantly hear competitors, hey, thanks for pulling over, Mr. Bovo, appreciate it, thank you. Basically what he does is he just shows up, wins, and goes home. And then he lets people kind of go, what just happened? Why did I lose when I just spent all this money on a car? Well, you lost because there are other guys out there doing it better. They don't need to talk, they just need to do. These are the doers. If you go out and you build stuff that is this good and that can compete with their stuff, you let me know. Right now I haven't found it. This car is fantastic and it's fun. I want to go to a track. Oh, I want to go to a track.
My excitement is getting dirty, laying under the ground, racing. I look back, I'm a little irritated about missing the days when you can wear the bubble glasses, the half helmet, and you get out and your face is all dirty because you were running a Lola and you had a big block strapped to your back. I wish I had that day, and I wish it was now, and it was current, and it was real competition. I think the new stuff, hey, I'll wheel it, I'll drive it, I'll set it up. But I think if there was a time that fit me the best, it was Can-Am. It was the old Indy cars where you'd put it in the wall and you wouldn't come out alive. And this just matches my style better.
You know, I wasn't familiar with Maier Racing up until, I'll be honest, quite recently. But it wasn't because of their advertising, it wasn't because of banners, and it wasn't because of fanfare. It was because I went to a car show and I saw one of their cars run. And I was so intrigued by how well it did that I made it my business to find out who they were and what they did. A lot of people will take their product and they'll throw it in your face and they'll say, we're the best, we're the greatest, you need to buy our stuff. When a lot of times what you really need to do is shut up and turn the internet off, because at the end of the day, it's the quiet ones that you really should be paying attention to.
But this package here was just something sitting in the shop. Over a couple of beers, we sat there and said, sorry, dude.
We said, get the out of my face, fly. That's what we said.
That thing's getting right there. You saw it too, huh?
Yeah, because it was like
Sorry, dude. I feel like an elephant.
Look at the big muscle.